So much talk about universal basic income. It's Friday at the Labor Network. I'm Mark Harrison, and WTF is next. As many of you know, I've been appearing on lots of radio talk shows as a guest the last couple of months, and one question continues to come up. Several of the hosts have asked me what I think about universal basic income, or UBI. Well, let's begin with what that is exactly. Here's the way it's defined by the International Monetary Fund. An income support mechanism in which regular cash payments are intended to reach all or a very large portion of the population with no conditions. No conditions. Draw me a world where Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell can reach an agreement on that. The fact is that until we can define UBI, we need to have a Congress that can come to an agreement on something other than giving itself a pay raise and unlimited terms in office. The estimated costs of giving everyone in the United States $1,000 a month, which, by the way, seems to be the accepted amount everyone is talking about, would be 2 times the cost of Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid combined. Twice that cost. A staggering amount of taxpayer money coming out of the Treasury, to say the least. But, and listen to this, because this is really important. Tell me this isn't a coincidence. Strangely enough, if individual income had kept pace with overall economic growth since 1970, Americans at the bottom 90% of the income distribution ladder would be making $12,000 more a year than they are today. Now that's a familiar figure. 12,000 is the number the UBI proponents are pushing. The key here is that Americans haven't shared in the wealth of their employers since 1970. There are many factors why, but one very important factor is that unions fight for a fair share of economic growth at companies, and that no longer exists for the most part. Individuals can't do it. So what the wealthiest in our nation are advocating is that the lost wages be replaced with a government giveaway. That, ladies and gentlemen, is corporate welfare at its finest. You see, we already have a UBI, and it's called minimum wage. If minimum wage were indexed to where it was in 1968, it would be paying somewhere between $20 and $25 an hour. And don't tell me that's a wage for teenagers. Congress didn't enact a law to make sure paperboys and babysitters made enough spending money for the mall. And also don't tell me that jobs would disappear because businesses can't afford to pay minimum wage. That argument has been repeatedly refuted in cities like Seattle and New York, where the $15 minimum wage has been instituted. Starting pay in Denmark for an employee who works at McDonald's is $22 an hour, and it comes with benefits. Those workers work one job. They know their schedules a month in advance. They take family vacations. They afford rent and housing and save for college. Health insurance is provided. I know Denmark is small, correct, which means they sell less Big Macs. It's proportional. We're bigger, so we sell more burgers. So get over that argument too. You tell whoever is arguing this with you. Where there will be a need for basic income will be as we see current jobs replaced with artificial intelligence, something we are poised to begin experiencing very quickly, and possibly even now is accelerated because of the current financial situation. AI will mean a shift in jobs, and that will require training. That training should be paid for by corporations paying into a trust fund. And those training workers will need a guarantee of basic family health care and a monthly cash stipend, basic income, in order to make ends meet until they are trained and placed into new jobs. In a world where most families don't have $400 saved for an emergency, that type of a guaranteed basic income would allow workers and their families to get along without worry and be able to concentrate on learning new skills. But it will take leadership and forward thinking on the part of political and corporate leaders to make that happen. And it will take new minimum wage laws, and it will take stronger labor unions and leaders of labor unions to act as a countervailing voice for capitalism unchecked, including sexual bargaining, which we'll talk about next week on Labor This Week. I'm Mark Harrison, and I'll see you then.